Hey guys, today we are talking about meditation. Oh my god, meditation! Blah, blah, blah. Who cares? Nah. I'm talking about meditation today because I think it is a practice that people don't utilize enough in order to change their lives and actually take a hold of your life and change it to the outcome that you want, to the experience that you want to experience. So, I'm going to talk about how meditation changes your mind, but I'm also going to talk about how it impacted me in my life, how it changed me, and just like every stage that you go through, like when you first start to when you continue to do it as a daily practice to when you've mastered it, or when it becomes a routine. I know the first time that I ever tried like something like that was at a school event. We're outside, we're sitting in the grass, and for some reason they wanted to do like a meditation session. And so we sat crisscross, we had our eyes closed, and we had like a visualization. Really, also ignore my dog. We had a visualization practice, and they're like, oh, like imagine you see a tree or like something like that. And I remember in that moment, I had lots, like many thoughts going through my mind. I couldn't focus because it was my first time trying it out. I'm like, what the hell is this? So, like, when you try it for the first time, it feels like, okay, but like, what is this actually doing? Like, I'm just sitting in silence. I do this when I'm sleeping. And that's the thing. Like, when we go to sleep, it's a break from reality. We use that time to restore our brains, our bodies. But when we're sleeping, our mind is asleep too. And so our mind never gets a chance to calm down and relax while we're awake, while we're in this reality, while we're awake in this present moment, where our mind is never really resting because we never take a chance to stop and come back to it and come back to ourselves. And that's why meditation is so important, because we got to come back to ourselves to figure out where we're at and what we want to become. And so the first thing that changes when you start meditating is that your thoughts get quieter. So like I said, when I first tried it out, my thoughts were still going through my head, like I don't know, I was just thinking about random things that happened through the day, random crushes that I had, just random BS going through my mind. But after continuing to do it on a regular basis, I started to notice the thoughts that came into my head. I would listen to them, and I would feel myself go through the thought loop. Like, let's say I start thinking about school. Oh, I went to school today. Man, I really didn't like when my teacher did this. Oh, and then we have this homework assignment. Oh, I got to do this homework assignment. Oh, it's due this Friday. Oh, what am I going to do the assignment on? Da, 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 da. And then you go down the thought loop, right? But in meditation, the point is to be aware of yourself, to be aware of what you're thinking. And so as you're meditating and you start going down that road, that thought loop, once you can pinpoint, like, okay, like I got off track, then you can come back to the present moment. You come back to your body and be like, oh, okay, I'm supposed to be meditating right now. So you sit in that silence, and you sit and come back to yourself and feel the present moment. And in that moment, you're able to clear all thoughts, clear anything going through your mind. Once you start recognizing the thoughts and you start coming back to the main point, the point that in which where you are and that everything is going across of, because you're always going to be here. You're always going to be here in this now moment. You're always going to be present within yourself, and everything is always going to be coming across of it. Same thing with thoughts. Thoughts are always going to be crossing your mind, but you're never going to leave your mind. You're never going to be out of your mind. You're always going to be here, and the thoughts are always just going to come and go. They're never going to stay forever. They're never going to A thought is never going to be here forever. The thought that I'm angry right now, I'm mad, I'm sad. I don't know why I repeated the same thing twice, but that those feelings, it's all gonna pass. The only thing that constantly remains is you, is the present you. And so meditation allows you to start recognizing this, recognizing the thoughts that are passing by. And once you start recognizing the thoughts that are passing by and you stop seeing them as you start recognizing that these thoughts are outside of me. There's something that I recognize. There's something that I can see and witness, but it's not my identity. It's not a part of me. It's just something that I experience. It's just something that I can see happening. And so you start seeing these thoughts, you start recognizing. Then you can start choosing what you want to think about. You can start seeing the negative patterns that you have, limiting thoughts that you've put on yourself. Like, I can't do this. The most basic is like, I can't do this. I'm not smart. I hate myself. I hate my life. Even jokes that maybe you tell yourself, like, oh, I hate my life, that stays in your mind. And unconsciously, your mind is holding on to that belief that you really do feel that way. Start paying attention to what specifically you're thinking about. What specifically are you allowing yourself to fall back into? If you keep repeating the same negative thought patterns, it's going to reflect back out to you in your life. It's going to reflect in your relationships. It's going to reflect in the choices that you make. It's going to reflect as the person you show up as. Then once you're really like, oh my God, like, what have I been doing to myself? And you start realizing, okay, I've been choosing to be this person this whole time, but I don't resonate with that. That's not the person that I want to be. So then you start losing your identity. You start losing a part of yourself. You start waking up and realizing, oh my gosh, who have I been waking up as every single day and showing up in my life as every single day? You start, and you're gonna start being like, what the actual, like, what the heck? What have I been doing to myself? So you start losing that part of your identity. That part of your identity is no longer a part of you, but it's something that you see. You can see that you were. And now you can start becoming more of who you actually want to be, the person that you actually want, like the life that you actually want to live, and what actually lights you up, what actually makes you happy, the person you want to show up as every single day. Meditation brings you back to yourself. It brings you back to the version of you that you are meant to be. Because you start seeing in your everyday life what is taking away from you. Because in the same way in meditation where you go into those thought loops, you start getting pulled down the spiral, that show up every day too. When you're outside, you're walking, you're talking to people, notice the way that you start getting pulled into those thought loops. You get pulled into certain energies, but you can always come back to the stabilizing point, the main point of where we always are. You can always come back to this middle point that doesn't have to have meaning. It doesn't have to have a story. You can just exist without having to have a story. You can just exist without having to have any thoughts. As long as you're present, as long as you're here, that is enough. And the stories, they just shape your beliefs and they just shape who you can become. So instead of choosing to fall back into what you grew up as, or choosing to fall back into what you learned as a kid, you can choose what you want to experience. You can choose what thoughts you want to think. You don't have to believe your mind because it's not actually you. They're just thoughts going through your head. They're just thought loops heard from other places, other people, experiences, and you don't have to believe all of it. And that's what meditation teaches you. It teaches you silence, teaches you the present moment, teaches you to come back to yourself, come back to what reality is, come back to God, God, which is everything. Lastly, to end this off, the reason why this is so important to me is because when I was really going through it, when I was depressed and anxious all the time, I would get sucked into these thought loops for weeks. Like, literally, for an entire week, I would get stuck on one thought and thinking, what is wrong with me? Like, I would find a new problem in my life and choose to hold on to that. It was just like the same thoughts every day. Like, I'm so sad. I'm so depressed. Like, I lost so much. And why does the universe keep doing this to me? Like, that negative victim mindset would go through my mind constantly for a week or two. And when I would get out of it, I don't know how, like all of a sudden my mind would just get tired of replaying the same thoughts. And so I would have a brief moment of getting out of it, maybe for like a day or two. And then I would fall back in and I would get stuck there because I kept choosing to believe the thoughts going through my head. I kept choosing, choosing those thoughts, choosing to believe them without realizing that I was the one putting myself there. I was the one dragging myself through the mud. I was the one putting myself through that. I did not have to. I didn't have to suffer so hard. It's true that we go through circumstances, but it's all about how we show up, how we deal with them. How we choose to react determines how much we're going to suffer. And so, meditation brings you back to yourself, brings you back to what is true, rather than a thought that tries to play as you, that tries to think that you're less than what you are, but really you're a lot more. And so, I encourage you to start meditating, to start realizing what has actually been on your mind lately. What is preventing you from living the life that you love? Because everything is yours right now. It's all about your beliefs, it's all about what you think every day. And it's not until you start taking a hold of that fact and doing something with it that everything's gonna change. Everything can change for you. It's all up to you. And it's understanding that we always have that power, that God, source, everything has always given us the power to get and receive whatever we want to, as long as we put in the energy. We put in the energy and we come back to ourselves and we choose what we want to experience rather than falling victim to ideas, stories that our mind tries to tell us. So, I love you. I hope this helped you. And meditate. Meditate if you haven't today. Bye.